Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and this is the opposition preview. I'm joined by Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. First of all, mate, welcome to the channel. It's a pleasure
Thank you,
to have
mate.
you.
Yeah, it's always good coming on your show as well. It always seems to be a good game between Spurs and Everton, so I'm looking forward to this one this weekend.
Yeah, I can remember some bad games. I think it's last year where we got absolutely battered. I think it was like the first time Frank Lampard, it was like his second, third game, and we were like, don't know if we've gone, our fans were a bit wary. What are your thoughts on Tottenham though this season? How do you think you've got on?
It's been an interesting start to the season, to be honest, because obviously we had a really good back end to last season, pipping Arsenal to Champions League and all that. This season, it's a weird one because results are going our way. We're getting really good results, third in the league, top in our Champions League group, but there are still a few grumbles and moans going around the Spurs fan base in terms of the way we're playing our football. Me personally, I don't really care as long as we're getting the results. I'm happy with that. But there are a few moans about maybe how boring the style of play is and something like that. But I'm still hoping that we haven't really clicked as of yet enough this season, and I'm hoping that when we do click, you're really going to start seeing that football come through. But I'm happy with the way that we've started the season, to be honest.
What were your thoughts on the business that you did in the summer? And notably, obviously, it's going to be tough not to speak about Richarlison. I imagine he's going to be on a lot of fans. What have you made of him so far and the other signings you made this summer?
Well, I was really happy at the start of the window because we looked to do our business early. There were still holes in the squad, and I was fully expecting those holes to be closed, to be honest, going into the latter stages of the window. That really didn't seem to happen. We still didn't bring in a right wing back. I mean, we brought in Jed Spence, but we didn't bring in a right wing back that Conte really trusts, because it doesn't seem like that was a Conte signing. It seemed like more of a club signing. I was expecting one more centre back because our defence is a bit frail, and I was expecting maybe an attacking midfielder as well. And you can see that we're clearly lacking those positions so far this season. That was a source of frustration for me. But in terms of the business that we did do, I was very happy with the players that we brought in. Bissouma, I think, is going to be a top quality asset for us. Perisic, I've been really happy with so far, although I think there's a lot more to come. Longley, I think that, he's been good, and he's getting to grips with life at Spurs now as well. Richarlison, obviously, we nabbed him off you 60 million. I mean, I've been very happy with his start as well. He's got a lot of energy. He goes for the throat of the opponents. He doesn't let them have a seconds to rest. I mean, his pressing game is good. I would like to see him have a bit better link-up play, and maybe his final pass as well seems to be a bit lacking at times, but it is early days for him at Spurs, and he's got tough competition in Kulusevski, Sonny and Kane. So it's going to be tough for him, Richarlison, but I'm backing him to do the business, and I'm very liking his attitude, and I'm liking his will to kind of spur on the team, as it may be, in his early stages of his Spurs career. So I'm happy with Richarlison. I would just like to see him do a bit more in the final third for me.
Yeah, he works really hard, doesn't he? He's a tough worker. You've mentioned, obviously, Son, Kulusevski, and then you've now got Richarlison and Kane. Is this Tottenham side at the start of something special? There's a lot of great potential. Obviously, Kane's a little bit older, but there's a lot of great players there. There's a mix of youth and a little bit of experience with Kane and Son now.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we've brought in... When you're looking at our team under Jose Mourinho, we had an aging team with the Toby Alderweireld's and all those kind of players that have kind of left the club now. We do still have like the Kane and Sons who are the wrong side of in their 20s, getting into their 30s now. But I think it's exciting time to be a Spurs fan with Antonio Conte as manager, with the world-class talent we have in our team, with players like Christian Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur, Højbjerg, all at a good age and all really strutting their stuff at the moment for Tottenham. I think it is an exciting time to be a Spurs fan. I mean, Spurs are dreaming of winning something big under Antonio Conte, and I think it can happen, but I think this year will probably be a step too soon for us. I think we need another couple of transfer windows this January and next summer, and then maybe you can see us fighting for big honours. But I think this season will become a bit too soon. but I'm definitely excited what the future can hold. And if we can keep hold of the likes of Antonio Conte and Harry Kane, whose futures are up in the air at the moment, I'm not going to lie, they are up in the air. If we can keep hold of them, I think that signals that Spurs are on a very good track, and especially Antonio Conte, because his track record speaks for itself. He wins everywhere he goes. And not only does he win everywhere he goes, but he doesn't seem to win with the best team in the league everywhere he goes. When he won the league at Chelsea, they were 10th in the league when he took them over. Inter Milan, I mean, they stopped that massive Juventus dominance in Serie A. He brought Juventus back as well at the early stage of his career. So I think he always does it with the kind of underdog, which kind of fits us well. So I'm hoping that if Antonio Conte does knuckle down and sign that contract, that will kind of enable Kane to sign that contract, and then we will really be on the right path to good things, in my opinion.
Obviously, you mentioned Conte then and how great he is, a world-class manager, massive name in football as well. But you mentioned the style from some fans. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously he has been known to play a slightly more pragmatic style of football. But like you said, you had Mourinho, who also brought in the same stylish nature. What are your thoughts on Conte as a whole then?
I'm loving Antonio Conte. Every second of his time at Spurs, I've been loving. I think that if he was to leave, the only step would be downwards after him. I don't think we can get a better manager than Antonio Conte through the door at Tottenham. That's just the facts of the matter. When you're talking about the playing style, I think last season, at the back end, last 10 games of the season, when we really, pushed on to get that top four, I actually was quite enjoying the football. I think we were playing out from the back. We were scoring a lot of goals. And it was good to watch. But, fast forward to this season, something's changed, and I can't really put my finger on what it is with the playing style as of yet. Maybe it's just that we haven't bedded in our new signings yet and stuff like that, but I think it will come. But at the end of the day, right, we've had Pochettino, we've had the nice football, and we had it for so long, and we were probably the best footballing side in the league for 2-3 years under Pochettino. Ultimately, we fell short every time. And I think that with Conte, with his know-how, where he's been there, he's done that, he's got the T-shirt, he's won in all the countries he's ever managed in. I'm not too bothered about the style of football right now. I just want to see winning football. I just want to see us win something. I want to see us lift the trophy. It's been so long since I've seen Spurs lift the trophy, since 2008, which has been too long in my book for Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs have always been kind of considered as a cup team and a team that does win trophies. And when I was growing up, Spurs had won the most FA Cups in FA Cup history. I mean, we're a long way off that now, with behind the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal and Man United. But this football club need to be winning trophies, and we need to be fighting definitely up there for the Champions League spaces. So I'm happy with the style of football because we're winning. If it turns like a bit sour like it did under Jose Mourinho, where we're playing this kind of football and we're not winning, then I won't accept that. But as long as we're winning and getting results in games, I'll take it.
Fair enough. Obviously, we've talked a bit about Tottenham. I don't know how much of us you've seen, but what are your thoughts on Everton this season?
Well, coming into the season, I thought you guys were going down, to be honest. I really did. The way you were last season, yeah, you pulled through at the end, and I think Richarlison was a big part of that. But I wasn't a fan of Frank Lampard whatsoever as a manager. I think he didn't do well at Chelsea. I think last season you should have finished much higher up in the league than you did. But this season, I think he made some good signings in the summer. Onana looks like a really good signing. Cody looks like a really good signing. Tarkowski and Cody have really shored up your defence. You've become a really hard team to beat, to be honest. I think Anthony Gordon as well has stepped it up this season as what he was. I mean, he was linked with big moves over the summer to us, to Chelsea. Didn't happen for one reason or another, and I think he's really kicked on this season, and you've really seen him starting to add consistent goals to his game. I really like the look of Everton, to be honest. I think that you've probably not got enough points as what your performances maybe have expected this season. But I think you'll be all right this season, to be honest. And I think I was wrong when I was saying you were going to go down in the summer. I've been impressed with how hard you are to play against, and how hard it is for teams to beat you. I know Man United just beat you on the weekend, but that was your first loss in a while. And I think Man United probably just about deserved to win that game, but I think it was a tight game of football, and at the end of that game, you definitely could have got something out of it, to be honest. And like I said, I've been impressed with Everton because I thought no disrespect to you lot, but I did think that you were going to be facing a relegation battle this season. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because I think with the signings that you've brought in, they've actually really helped you.
So obviously you mentioned Frank Lampard. What are your thoughts on him now then? Because you said you weren't too convinced. Now we've sort of moved on. You said we look a little bit better this season. Have your opinions changed of him as a manager? Because I personally was the same as you. I'm still a little bit on the fence on him as a manager.
I think with Frank Lampard, I think he's going to need time, because obviously he's still a young manager coming through. He was there at, was it Norwich? Was it Norwich? Who was he at the Championship? Derby, that was it. Sorry, Derby. And then he moved to Chelsea, which was completely wrong in that stage of his career. He should never have got that Chelsea job. Obviously, he goes and then he gets the Everton job. And I think that it's a hard one to assess, because obviously you have made forward steps this season, but I'd like to maybe judge it over a longer period of time. Maybe it's a right time to judge it at the end of the season or the latter stages of the season to see where you're at, because you never know what can happen over the long course of a season. Obviously, like I said, the early parts of this season, the signs look better for you than it did last season, but I don't want to make any early judgments on Lampard just because it's still very early in his footballing career. But I would say the signs are good so far at the early stages of this season.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's like I said, I'm still on the fence just because I think he's still very much a novice in the management game. And obviously, the big question here is, who's the danger man for Tottenham at the moment? Who do Everton need to keep their eye out on? I feel like I know what the name you're going to say, but just
say it. I think obviously Kane and Son always there, but Richarlison picked up a slight knock. I'm not sure if he's going to be fit for the game this weekend, but I think he will be. If he does play against you lot, I do back him to get a goal, to be honest. Players love scoring against their old clubs, but one player that you really need to watch out for who's back in the squad this weekend is Dejan Kulusevski, because he's a chance creation machine. He's someone that maybe some opposition fans sleep on a little bit, but he has been like the glue to our front three, and since he's come in January, it's really enabled Kane, Son, and the whole team to really strut their stuff. And I've been so impressed with Kulusevski since he's come in. The physical attributes that he has, his decision making is absolutely spot on every time, and he seems to make the right pass and really get a number of assists, and his goal contribution since he's joined Spurs has been second to none. So I think he's definitely one that you need to watch out for. But the danger man has got to be Heung-min Son, because he is back in form finally, and hat-trick against Leicester just before international break, backed it up with 2 goals against Frankfurt in the Champions League in midweek, and he is really getting back to his best. So it's probably a bad time for you guys to come up against him, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been saying to everyone I know, put a £5 on Richarlison scoring. I think it's destined, but it's one of those that's nailed on, and it's going to be so painful because a lot of our fans really do love him still. But I have to, Kane
I saw a video of your fans. They were doing like the pigeon dance as you like to try and get him to stay or something in the summer.
Yeah, none of us wanted him to go. He was really well liked. He's a really good player. But I'm not surprised you said Kane or Son either. I watched the highlights of your Freiburg game, and I think it's Kane's assist for Son. A really, really good pass.
Yeah.
Really great ball. It's
Absolutely
amazing how he can score and assist so well.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's a phenomenon, Harry Kane. He really is. I mean, what can't he do? Is there anyone in world football that can do the number 10 and the number 9 role to his level? I don't think there is, to be honest. I mean, you've got Erling Haaland, obviously, who's like a beast of a number 9, but he can't do the work that, he's a bit like the best number 9 and Kevin De Bruyne are all rolled into one, Harry Kane, and it's just unbelievable to see what he can do on a football pitch. And he played a bit of last season he was dropping deep into that number 10 and orchestrating things and really feeding Sonny, and he was back at that in the Frankfurt game, and it was great to see because I think he did an unbelievable job for the team, and it did enable Son to do what he did as well on Wednesday night. So I think you got a lot to look out for on Wednesday, that's for sure.
So we've done who we should worry for. Who worries you the most in this Everton side? Who do you think might cause you the most trouble?
Well, I was worried for Anthony Gordon because, like I said, I think he's had a really good start to the season, but he's suspended for the game, luckily for us. I think that what I'm most worried about is breaking you guys down, because you seem to be a very hard nut to crack at the moment, with Tarkowski and Cody playing really well at the moment. In terms of going forward, I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin should be back in the team, I think, this weekend. I think he came on against Man United, so he's always someone to be wary of. I've been impressed with Onana in the middle of the park. I think he's been doing a really good job for you guys. And Dwight McNeil as well. I think he was an astute signing from Burnley. He's a very good player, and I think he can hurt any team on his day. So I think you've got a few players to look out for. And I've always been impressed with Mikalenko, actually, at wing-back or full-back for you guys, and I think he's a good player. So I think you've got a few players to watch out for, but I'm quite happy that Anthony Gordon's out for this game.
Yeah, the suspension doesn't come at a great time. We could do with him firing on all cylinders. What do you think your likely lineup is going to be?
Well, I think it's most likely going to be a 3-4-3 formation. In goal, Hugo Lloris. Right centre back will probably be Christian Romero. In the centre will be Eric Dyer. On the left, it's a toss-up between Longley and Davis, but I think Davis actually might get the nod. Longley had the shot on Wednesday, but Davis had it in the previous Premier League game and didn't do much wrong. So I think Davis might come back in for this game. Wing backs will be an interesting one, because Sessegnon has actually been playing really well at the moment, keeping Perisic out the team. But Perisic might come back in because just the amount of football we've got at the moment is just crazy. So it's going to have to be a squad game. Right back, you're probably going to see Matt Doherty in the team. Emerson Royale suspended, luckily enough. So hopefully Matt Doherty will come in and have he played well against Brighton. Wasn't amazing, but played well, and I'm hoping he can kick on from that and have a really good game. In midfield, I'm looking at Højbjerg and Bentancur, who've both been on really, really good form recently, especially Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who's just been absolutely running things from the midfield. And the strike force, obviously Kane is going to be up top, Sonny on the left, and it'll be between Richarlison and Kulusevski, whoever's the fitter out of the two, to play on the right-hand side. We heard in the press conference before the Champions League game that Kulusevski wasn't fit enough to play or be on the bench for the Frankfurt game, but he will be on the squad for this game. And he did say after the after the Frankfurt game that Richarlison came off with a knock, but he should be all right with it for the Everton game. So I'm not sure who's going to play on the right, but I'll probably go with Richarlison.
Yeah, I'd play him just for the mind games, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just for the shithousery, you know how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just to break every Everton fan's heart when he scores.
I'm sure he won't celebrate against you anyway.
No, I don't think he ever did against Watford for us. So I have a lot of hope that he wouldn't. It'd be absolutely heartbreaking to watch him whip his top off or something, or kiss the badge.
He's got an Everton tattoo, doesn't he? Or a tattoo of the song that you sang for him, didn't you?
Yeah, so I'm hoping not. What's your score prediction for the game?
It's going to be a difficult one, but I'm going to go... Sorry to all your Evertonians out there, but I'm going to go 3-0 to Spurs, to be honest. I think that without Anthony Gordon, I think that's a big tool out of your armoury. And I think that we can really hurt you with a lot of Spurs players on form at the moment. Like I said, the midfielders really on form. I think the wing-backs are going to have a crucial role to Spurs this weekend, with Doherty seeming back in the team and hopefully back on form. And the front line, you can't get away from that front line, because Heung-min Son is really coming into the form. We're looking at him as maybe coming back to his best now. Harry Kane and Sonny partnership is flourishing as always, and whether it be Kulusevski or Richarlison, you know full well how much Richarlison can hurt you, and I think Kulusevski is a step up from Richarlison, so either of those can really hurt you. So I'm going to go 3-0 to Spurs.
No worries. The final question's always a bit of an irrelevant one for the game. What's your go-to match day meal?
My go-to match day meal? Burger and chips, probably. Oh, you know what? They've got a really good new chicken shop at the Spurs stadium. So we went there before the Frankfurt game, and it was really good. So maybe that might turn into my new match day ritual.
No worries. And that is everything we've got time for. I'd just like to say thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
No, thanks for having me on. Always good to do these before the game, and hopefully you won't have that smile on your face after the game on Saturday. But now all in good faith.
Brilliant. Don't forget, guys, to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, comment down below, and you can check out We Are Tottenham. The link will be in the description down below as always, and I'll see you guys soon.